I'm Michale Graves, and I am blowing it up on Capital Chaos TV.
You are number 666.
All right, this is the Iron Serbian with Capital Chaos TV, and we're hanging out here with Michale Graves, who was in his own band now, right?
Yes, called Michale Graves.
And this is not the first. You're playing here at the Boardwalk in Orangevale. This is not your first time, I take it?
My first time at the Boardwalk. Not my first time in this area.
Okay. Have you played here on your own, or was the last time you played was with the Misfits?
I've rolled through here with a bunch of my projects. I think the last time I came through this part of town, I was on an acoustic tour. But yeah, I've come back this way a bunch of times over the years.
What brings you out on the road in the year of 2016?
I have a new record called When Worlds Collide. It was released in mid-January. It is I believe my 7th release in the past 3 years. Yeah, so we're out on tour supporting it.
Excellent. And from what I heard, it's primarily acoustic tracks, correct?
No. This record is full band. There's 11 brand new songs. If I could compare it with two bands, it's probably like if Black Sabbath, Old Danzig, and Caius ran into each other. That's kind of the tone of this record.
Wow, I'm completely off base. I must have been listening to the Japanese version or something. I don't know. But so it's a hard rocking album. That's a Caius, Black Sabbath, and Danzig. That's a solid mix right there.
It's very rock and roll. It's very rock and roll and being well received by the fans.
And if I'm correct, and I was not on the last time, the last question, it's all pretty much spaceman, Misfits-y themes. Is that correct?
Each song is a old horror movie or a sci-fi movie. Yeah, and I through those titles and those movies, my business partner Mark Allen Stewart is one of the foremost minds in the country, maybe in fact in the world in horror and sci-fi. He's like an encyclopedia of it. So we came up with a body of songs from old movies. I pick his brain, and then I go and I watch those movies, and from those films I extract the allegories and try to keep relevant to the songs what the authors, what the directors were trying to get across in the movies, as well as then inject my own experiences, my own life and current times, and create music through that, which is what makes this horror genre so special and so exciting to create music through.
And is that something that you've always drawn inspiration from, pretty much, for music?
No, it was when I got into the Misfits.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I've always loved horror movies, always loved sci-fi movies, but I until I got into the Misfits and really tried to understand what they were trying to do and make it different, that's when I really started to hone this craft. And 21 years later, I'm still at it.
Do you play all the music on the album? All the instruments as well?
I do. I play all the instruments except for drums. Chuck Treese is the drummer on this album. Incredible individual. Has played with just about everybody in the world. Had a band called McRad. He played with Bad Brains. Played with Pearl Jam. He is a prolific skateboarder as well. He's just fantastic.
Are you a fan of the stick as well?
I haven't been on my skateboard. I don't skateboard like I used to when I was a kid, but yeah, I still get on it, and yeah.
Were you when you skated? Were you doing pipes or were you doing street style?
I was mostly street style, yeah. And for a little while I got into freestyle, like Rodney Mullen. But yeah, I was mostly I skated streets. The closest ramp to me. I'm from New Jersey, so the closest ramp to me was like at Union City, New Jersey. It was a metal ramp, and it was just too far for me to get to, when I was a kid, and
So you're familiar with obviously Thrasher, the Bones Brigade, and all that stuff.
Yeah, Powell Peralta,
Skate Rock,
Tony Hawk. I love Tony Hawk, Steve Cavallero, all those. Lance Mountain. yeah, I remember the search for Animal Chin, and like, yeah.
Isn't it rad to see those people still doing it in this, I won't say a ripe old age, but getting up there and they're still ripping it up.
It's amazing.
Inspiring in a way.
It really, really is. It really is.
Inspires me just to get out of bed.
Yeah, right.
So, when the last time the Misfits played here in Sacramento with you as a singer, they played at the Crest Theater, and I think it was Doyle and his brother were very active in weightlifting and very active in WWE wrestling and so forth.
Right.
You were doing a lot of weightlifting as well back then, I take it.
Doyle was my best friend. I hung out with Doyle all the time, and we worked out together constantly. We, as we still do, have always treated our bodies and have kept our mindset on the road much like an athlete would. We keep ourselves as clean as possible, and you know, Doyle more so. You know, I mean, everybody sees his physique is just incredible. But I really learned a lot about you know, staying strong and lifting, you know, right. I mean, obviously, I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but
how big are you?
I only weigh about 165 pounds right now.
And you're what, 6'4"?
No, I'm about 5'8", 5'9" with boots on. You know, but you know, I keep myself strong and healthy so that I can play, you know, the way that I do every single night.
Well, it sounds to me like you're healthy by the way of federal standards with the BMI and so forth, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm gonna have a brain fart here. So, so you were talking a little while ago about GMOs.
Yeah.
Are you active in? Do you do any sort of? Are you active in any activism? Any
I am. I'm as much as I can. You know, whenever I have the opportunity, I like to talk about. You know, genetically modified food and is like we were just talking about before, something that I avoid at all costs. Especially, you know, on the road, it's tough to feed yourself and be healthy. You know, for people that don't understand what genetically modified food is, I mean, it's frankenfood, it's fake food, and not to go off completely on a tangent, but it's linked to, you know, lower IQs. It's linked to, you know, bone degeneration. It's linked to all sorts of neurological symptoms. You know, it's just bad. I mean, in labs, you know, the third generation rats that GMOs are fed to are sterile. So I mean, there's just a long line of things that are bad about GMO food, and yeah, food's jacked, the water's jacked, the air's jacked.
Well, I guess with GMOs, we don't have to worry too much about chemtrails then, right? Because, or are you familiar with chemtrails?
You got to worry about the chemtrails. They're putting the stuff in the air. They're putting it in the food. They're putting the fluoride in the water. We're under attack from every which way, you know, and it's true, and that's one of the reasons, you know, as we pivot to this part of our conversation, we see this upswell of anger and discontent, whether it's, you know, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, red, white, blue, green. People understand now, especially here in America, that we are, again, under attack, whether it's our food, the water, the political system, the entertainment, music, culture, and young people like myself. Like I have two small children. You know, I have two girls. I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I want them to experience, you know, a renaissance in this world, a renaissance in this country. And so people like me are standing up and being as vocal and raising the level of our rhetoric for ourselves, but for the future of our children. Because we know that if we don't take back the things that have been taken from us and restore reality to this world as a whole, it's 1,000 years of darkness, folks.
Am I wrong to assume that you're a libertarian? Or
I am. I'm an independent. I'm a libertarian. I am pro-human. I'm pro everybody should be able to make their own decisions about their lives and their bodies and the way that they want to live their life. I'm truly.
Does it suck having to always vote Republican?
Yeah, I left the Republican Party years ago because, you know, and I used to.
With Paul gone, you just have Trump or Cruz or whoever it is going to be. That's all you'll have to vote for as a libertarian, right?
Yeah. Yes. And
no way in hell you're voting for Hillary Clinton, right?
Hell no. No.
She's not the lesser of two evils.
She's not the lesser of two evils.
Trump
no,
would be.
Trump. Yeah. Yeah. We have to do something, and it's definitely not Hillary Clinton.
No status quo for you.
No. I supported with money, time, and everything I could the Paul campaign, Ron Paul, you know, and his son Rand.
That must have been sort of fun. There's like a keep hope alive in a way. There was some hope with your leanings with those two guys. Now they're gone, and now you're sort of, what are you doing?
I am not voting for Hillary Clinton.
No, I understand.
I'm really hoping that you know, I hope that we can coalesce around somebody on the right side of things, that's going to unite people instead of divide them.
Cool. And as you know, the record company is pretty much doesn't really quite exist. It does. Yeah. It's still there. I wouldn't be talking to you if it didn't. You know, you wouldn't be here. Maybe you would be still here touring. What, as a libertarian, do you have an idea on what to do? Because I think part of it would be could be an invasion of privacy. Do you see that at all? As far as the file sharing goes, the internet piracy and whatnot.
I always tell fans that ask me about downloading, you know, my music. I'm just happy that folks have access to my music and that they're downloading it. I am not the type of person that needs much in this world. So, like, I have a fan base that I love, and they love me back, and they're supportive. And when I put records out, they buy them. And when I put products out, they buy them because they know me, they understand my brand. And so on the periphery of that, if there's a contingency of folks or fans that want to download my stuff, however they get it is fine with me, because I believe that if and when, you know, they eventually you know, go to my website or come to a show, they're going to buy something, and that's fantastic. So, you know, of course there has to be order to everything. There has to be some sort of rules. You know, everybody's trying to pay their bills and all, but I am not greedy. Again, I'm not looking for riches in this world. I'm already a rich man in different ways than, you know, than capital, if you will. So.
Cool. Just a couple more questions. You were talking a little bit about guns. You're a rifle guy. You a machine gun guy, or what's in your arsenal that you care to share?
Well, you know, I own firearms. I love shooting. It's something that I've always enjoyed. I love skeet shooting, so I personally, you know, I like I was talking to a little, you know, Damien. Sure. I have a .308 rifle scope. I love firing, you know, long range, distance. You know, I have pistols for protection. I have, you know, I love skeet shooting, so, you know, I have a shotgun. I also love, I got the opportunity years back to fire like old relics, like, you know, the powder rifles. So much fun. So much fun, yeah.
So yeah. Shoot off, I think it was think it was an AK-47, was it? Yeah. It's like a Romanian, or they said it was a Romanian AK-47. They kept jamming. I guess, quality is key in guns and music, right?
Yeah, I'm saving up my money for, a nice AR someday.
That's what it was. It was an AR-15, not an AK-47. That's a Russian thing, right?
AK-47s are hard to jam. Listen, you throw those things off the top of a mountain and submerge it in water and pick it up and it's going to fire.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Russian built. Well, just thank you for taking the time to meet with us, and thanks for coming out and playing your music like you do.
Thank you.
And do you have any final thoughts that you might want to share with anybody that might be watching this?
Take every moment of time as a gift, and love your family, love your friends, and just do your best. Time may be short.